Thanks for tuning into Know Wine in No Time. I'm your host Dave, and today we're going to explore a wine called Verdicchio di Castelli de Jesi. That's quite a mouthful. So this is a uniquely Italian wine, and if you've been tuning into Know Wine in No Time, we talk quite a bit about Italian wines. And a lot of times we're focused in the northwest in Piedmont or in the Mediterranean central part of Italy in Tuscany. But now we're going to cross over the Apennine Mountains and go over to the Adriatic side of Italy in the central part in a place called Marca. So Marca is home to a little village by the name of Jesi. So notice how we're starting to connect the dots. So let's go back to the name of that wine again and break it down so you know exactly what it means. So Verdicchio di Castelli de Jesi. Verdicchio is the grape, Dia Castelli from the castle de Jesi, the castle that's in Jesi. So let's look at this beautiful commune for a second. And Jesi is exactly that. It's a medieval city that's like a castle on a hill. It's surrounded by walls that were made to keep out invaders in the Middle Ages. Now in this area, where the vineyards grow, we have a soil type that's called calcareous. So calcareous soil is a mix between clay with a high limestone content, which this grape really loves. It allows it to keep its very crisp acidity while being dry in the glass. Also, the climate plays into why we're talking about Verdicchio from this specific area. Being on the Adriatic Sea, Jesi has a maritime climate, but unusually it's quite dry. So when we think about maritime, we always think about humidity, and certainly this area of Marca has humidity. However, it doesn't rain a lot there, so it's dry and humid, which this grape really, really loves in its cultivation. So let's think about a wine like this, and I always use a saying, if it grows together, it goes together. There's some local cuisine that really pairs well with this type of Verdicchio. And the first would be a cheese that's kind of famous in that area, and it's one called pecorino. But we also have a very infamous seafood dish by the name of brotetto de pesce. And this seafood dish has a lot of different seafood components to it, and it's one that pairs beautifully with a wine like this. However, if you're not Italian, or you might not be eating that, let's think of some international cuisine that a wine like this would pair with. And I think of all types of different seafood dishes. So think calamari, think shrimp, scallops, maybe even some type of white fish, or even a crustacean like lobster. It would be perfect with this particular wine. So this wine is going to take across a very citrusy persona. And I always like to have a saying in the wine world that if we have a dish and we're going to squeeze a lemon on it, then we want a wine that has a bit of a lemony persona. And that's what this wine has. So when we think about the wine laws in Jesi, specifically as it applies to Verdicchio, by law, this wine has to be at least 85% Verdicchio. However, it can be 100% Verdicchio. That other 15% can be made up by two grapes and two grapes only, and that's Trebbiano and Malvasia. So if we get a little bit of Trebbiano, a little Malvasia in there, it can add a little perfume to the blend. But remember, it's all about Verdicchio, and having it at 100% is not unusual. So let's go ahead and take a look at this wine and see what we might be able to expect. So the first thing that we notice is this wine has a beautiful yellow color. I would consider it to be straw yellow. It's very clear in its persona. If we swirl to liberate the aromas, the first thing that comes out of the glass is zest. So let's think about taking a lime and zesting it, taking a lemon and zesting it. That's exactly what's coming out of the glass. Not specifically lime or lemon, but the zests of those different fruits. Very crisp. Let's go ahead and take a sip and see how it passes the palate. When we sip a Verdicchio, the first thing we feel is a little tingle on our jaws. That's because this wine is extremely acidic. So it would be great as an aperitif or with some of those fish dishes we had just mentioned. All of those citrus fruit flavors come through. It has a very pronounced lemon stripe, but there also is a little bit of that lime around the edges. So, for those of you out there that are thinking, well, would I like a Verdicchio? If you like Sauvignon Blanc, I would think you would like a Verdicchio. But unlike where Sauvignon Blanc can sometimes take the grapefruit route, we're a little bit more on lemons and limes. And interestingly enough, on the back side of the palate, this Verdicchio presents itself with a little bit of a bitter almondy type of flavor on the backside. Very, very pleasant, very crisp and refreshing for some of those warmer days of summer. So I'm going to get back and enjoy a little bit more of this Verdicchio di Castelli de Jesi, and I ask that you come back next time, because soon you'll know wine in no time.